Good morning, students. Today we can study about the brain. Some parts regarding the brain. Okay. So brain. So yes, you already seen the specimen of the brain. Here we can see this part. This is the largest part of the brain. This is known as cerebrum. Okay. So this is the cerebrum. There will be two cerebral hemispheres, and here below the cerebrum comes the cerebellum. This is the cerebellum, and this part. This is known as brainstem. Then brainstem continues downwards as the spinal cord. Okay. When it passes through the foramen magnum, it continues downward as the spinal cord. Okay. So here we can see this is the cerebrum, and the brain, the entire part is covered by meninges. There will be three coverings. The outermost is the dura mater, then comes the pia mater. So here there will be two layers of dura mater. Between the two layers we can see the venous sinuses are there, blood filled spaces are there. They are known as dural venous sinuses, and these are the two layers. There will be endosteal layer and there is an endosteal layer and the meningeal layer. And below that comes the arachnoid matter. Then after that comes the pia mater. So pia mater will cover each and every sulci and gyri of the cerebrum. So this is the coverings, meninges. So here we can see this is the cut section. So after removing the skull cap, here we can make out this like this. We can see the brain. So it is covered by dura mater. So this is this cut open part. This is the dura mater. Below the dura mater comes the arachnoid mater. Then below that comes the pia mater. Okay. Then this is the brain. Okay. So here we can see the brain inside the cranial cavity, the meninges, that is dura mater. The meningeal layer of the dura mater will form some foldings. They are known as dural fold. Okay. So this is known as fold cerebri. So here we can see a sickle shaped cell foldings. So this is known as fold cerebri. So this fold cerebri can be seen between the two cerebral hemispheres. One hemisphere will come here and another will be coming here. So it separates two right and left cerebral hemispheres. So this is the fold cerebri, and we can see in the outer border of the fold cerebri there is a superior sagittal sinus, and inferiorly there is an inferior sagittal sinus. And here towards the posterior attachment of the fold cerebri, this is the straight sinus, this blue color region, straight sinus. So this is the fold cerebri. Then same like the fold cerebri, we can see another sickle shaped fold in the posterior part between the two cerebral hemispheres, between the two cerebellar hemispheres, that is two hemispheres of the cerebellum, right and left cerebellar hemispheres. This one, this small fold, this is known as fold cerebellae. So this is fold cerebri, this is fold cerebellae. Okay. And here we can see this one, another fold. This is known as tentorium cerebellae. This one you can see a tent shape. The half portion only we can see here. So another half will be coming like this. Okay. So it forms a tent over the cerebellum. So it is known as tentorium cerebellae. Okay. Then here this is our pituitary gland and pituitary fossa. So above that we can see another fold covering this pituitary gland. So this here forms the another fold of dura mater, that is known as diaphragma cellae. So these are the four foldings of the dura mater: fold cerebri, fold cerebellae, tentorium cerebellae, and diaphragma cellae. Four meningeal fold, dural folds. Okay. So that is the dura mater. So this is in the superior view from the tentorium cerebellae. So this is the tentorium cerebellae. We can see a tent shape. Here it is already cut. So it will be forming a tent over the cerebellum. So below comes the cerebellum, deep to the tentorium cerebellae. So this is the tentorium cerebellae. So then here also we can see some sinuses enclosed inside the tentorium cerebellae. Here on either side, this one. This is our transverse sinus. Right and left transverse sinus can be seen, and the transverse sinus then continues up anteriorly here as the petrosal sinus. Here we can see superior petrosal sinus, and below. It is continuous downwards as sigmoid sinus. This is the sigmoid sinus. Then the sigmoid sinus continuous as the internal jugular vein. Sigmoid sinus continuous as the internal jugular vein. And at the central part we can see there is a straight sinus also. Straight sinus. So all these sinuses are related to the tentorium cerebellae. Tentorium cerebellae. Here and on either side, here comes the diaphragma sellae. This is the pituitary gland. So this is the diaphragma sellae. So in diaphragma sellae we can see on either side there are two sinuses. This is the cavernous sinus, and here also one cavernous sinus is there. And between the two, these two cavernous sinuses are connected by anterior intercavernous sinus, and there will be a posterior intercavernous sinus. So in the diaphragma sellae, anteriorly there is anterior intercavernous sinus and posteriorly posterior intercavernous sinus. Okay. So these are the dural sinuses and dural fold. Okay. And here we can make out the margins of our cranial nerves. So cranial nerves budges from the brain, and it passes through the foramens inside the cranial cavity and exit through from the cranial cavity and passes different parts of our head and neck region. So this is then coming to the parts of the brain. So I already seen the largest part is the cerebrum. So this is the inferior view of the cerebrum, and here we can make out. Here we can see the inferior view. Here we count the cerebral hemispheres. These are the right and left cerebral hemispheres. So each hemisphere, this is one hemisphere and another hemisphere. Okay. And at the center part we can see the brain stem. This is our midbrain. So between the two peduncles, this is the two peduncles, cerebral peduncles of the midbrain. Here there will be an interpeduncular fossa. Interpeduncular fossa. Okay. And so in this picture we can make out this is actually the central view. Okay. Medial view of the full brain. Here we can, this is the cerebrum, and these two cerebral hemispheres are connected by corpus callosum. This is the white matter which connects the two cerebral hemispheres, which is known as corpus callosum. Yep. Below the corpus callosum we can see there is a cavity that is known as lateral ventricle, and below the lateral ventricle here we can see this is our thalamus and hypothalamus. So this is interthalamic adhesion or thalamic commissure can be seen. Then this part is known as thalamus, and below that this part is the hypothalamus, and this is our brain stem. So upper part, this is known as midbrain. This is the midbrain. Inner part, midbrain. So the cavity inside the midbrain, this is known as aqueduct of Sylvius. Aqueduct. Okay. And here this is our pons. So the posterior aspect of the pons and the upper part of medulla, this is the medulla. So in the posterior we can see there is a cavity. This is known as fourth ventricle. So here comes the lateral ventricle, and this is the third ventricle. Here between the two thalamus, one more thalamus will be coming here. So between the two thalamus and the hypothalamus there will be a space that is known as third ventricle, and the cavity inside the midbrain that is known as aqueduct of Sylvius, and within the pons, this is the posterior aspect of the pons, and here comes the cerebellum. So between the cerebellum and the pons and the upper part of the medulla, here there is another tent shaped cavity can be seen. So this is the fourth ventricle. So these are the cavities inside the brain, and inside these cavities we can see cerebrospinal fluid. CSF can be seen inside this cavity. Okay. So this is a midbrain stem. So midbrain, pons and medulla. Okay. And here comes the cerebellum. This is our cerebellum. Here anteriorly we can make out this is our pituitary gland. So we can see the connection between the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. This is the pituitary stalk. Pituitary gland and pituitary stalk. So these are the main parts of this brain. Cerebrum, cerebellum, brainstem. Brainstem is formed by midbrain, pons, medulla. Then within the medial surface of the cerebrum we can see the thalamus and hypothalamus. Then corpus callosum can be seen, which connects the two cerebral hemispheres. Then cavities, lateral ventricle, third ventricle, then aqueduct of Sylvius, then fourth ventricle, through which the CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, is circulating. Then the medulla then continues with the here this is our foramen magnum. So below the foramen magnum, medulla will be continuous as the spinal cord. Spinal cord. So in this picture we can make out the cavities, that is ventricles inside the brain. So this is the lateral ventricle below the corpus callosum. Lateral ventricle. Come here, this is the third ventricle. This is aqueduct of Sylvius. This is the fourth ventricle. Okay, and this fourth ventricle inferiorly we can see it continues as the central canal of the spinal cord. Central canal. So from the fourth ventricle we can see CSF can be passing through the different foramens, that is foramen of Lasch, this is foramen of Laschka, and this is foramen of Magendie. Yeah. So through which the CSF will enter into the subarachnoid space. This is subarachnoid space. So it passes through the subarachnoid space below the arachnoid matter. Okay. Coming to the cerebrum, so this is the cerebrum. This is one cerebral hemisphere. So each cerebral hemisphere has three poles, that is three ends we can see. This is known as frontal pole. Here posteriorly this is the occipital pole, and inferiorly this is the temporal pole. So three poles can be seen in the each cerebral hemisphere: frontal, occipital, and temporal poles. Okay. And this cerebral hemisphere again divided into different lobes. Okay. So anteriorly this lobe is known as frontal lobe. Here we can see there is sulci and gyri. So sulci and gyri are the these projections. These projections are known as, we know, the surface of the cerebrum is not smooth surface. Okay. So it is not smooth. We can see there will be depressions and elevations, and again depressions, elevations, then depressions, elevations. So the depressions are known as sulci, and these elevations are known as gyri. Okay. And here we can see centrally there is a large sulcus, the prominent sulcus, deep sulcus, that is known as central sulcus. Okay. And near to the posterior aspect, here also we can see there is a parieto-occipital sulcus. Parieto-occipital sulcus. Okay. And here also we can see calcarine sulcus here towards the medial side, and inferiorly, and so here we can see this is the superolateral surface of the cerebrum. Then so in the superolateral surface we can make out this is the central sulcus, this is the central sulcus, and here we can see there is a lateral sulcus, there is stem of the lateral sulcus which is going backward. This is the lateral sulcus. Then here posteriorly there will be parieto-occipital sulcus, this one, which is more prominent in the medial side. So the cerebral hemispheres is divided into 5 lobes actually. Here we can see 3 lobes. So frontal, from the frontal pole up to the central sulcus. This is the central sulcus. So up to the central sulcus is here when it reaches up to the lateral stem of the lateral sulcus. So this part, the red color region, this is the frontal lobe, and here you can see between the central sulcus and the parieto-occipital sulcus, this is the parietal lobe, and posterior to the parieto-occipital sulcus, this portion, this is the occipital lobe, and this laterally here we can see below the lateral sulcus, this is our temporal lobe. Okay. And there is another additional lobe can be seen which is submerged inside these lobes. This one, this picture we can see. So this is actually our lateral sulcus. So if we open that portion, we can see a small portion of cerebral cortex which are seen inside these lobes. So this is known as insula, or the 5th lobe of the cerebrum, insula. So these are the 5 lobes. So it has a frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe, and insula. So these are the lobes of the cerebrum. Okay. And each cerebral hemisphere has three surfaces. Okay. Here there is a supralateral surface which is seen in the superiorly and laterally. Supralateral surface, and it has a medial surface. This is a medial surface, and it has an inferior surface. Inferior surface. So three surfaces, and it has borders. There is a supromedial border, superior and medial border. This one, supromedial border. Then in this picture we can see there is an infralateral border. So infralateral border, then there is a medial orbital border and the medial occipital border. So these are the borders. So there is a supralateral border. So here we can see there is a supramedial border. So supramedial border, then this is the infralateral border. Here we can see in this picture infralateral border. Then there is medial border. In anterior part it is known as orbital border. Posterior part it is known as occipital border. So medial orbital border and medial occipital border. Then so these are the external features. So this is the diagrammatic representation. In this picture we can make out this is the frontal lobe. Here comes parietal and temporal lobe, occipital lobe. Okay. So these lobes are divided actually. Here we can see there is a central sulcus, and here comes the stem of the lateral sulcus. Okay. And the lateral sulcus is going backwards. Then we are drawing here, there will be a parieto-occipital sulcus. So we are drawing a first imaginary line connecting the parieto-occipital sulcus to the occipital notch. One imaginary line, and there will be another imaginary line which connects the first line with the lateral stem of the lateral sulcus. Okay. So like this we can divide the parietal lobes, temporal lobe and occipital lobe posteriorly. Okay. Join two imaginary line. One imaginary line which connects the parieto-occipital sulcus with the occipital notch. Okay. Then second imaginary line which connects the first line with the lateral sulcus, stem of the lateral sulcus. So these are the features of the cerebrum. So cerebrum has three surfaces: supralateral surface, medial surface, then inferior surface. Then it has borders. There will be a supromedial border, infralateral border, then medial border, that is again divided into orbital and occipital border. Then poles, it has three poles: frontal pole, temporal pole and occipital pole. And in this cerebrum we can see the projections and depressions. So these are the gyres. So these elevations, they are known as gyri, and in between the gyri we can see these depressions, they are known as sulci. Okay. So here in the supralateral surface of the brain, cerebrum, we can see mainly at the central part there is a central sulcus. So this is the central sulcus. Okay. Then in front of the central sulcus there is a gyrus that is known as precentral gyre. Posteriorly there is a postcentral gyrus. Okay. And here we can see precentral sulcus. In front of the precentral gyre there is a precentral sulcus. Okay. Then anterior to the precentral sulcus we can see again this frontal lobe is divided into, there is a superior frontal sulcus and inferior frontal sulcus. So these two sulcus divides into superior frontal gyrus, middle frontal gyrus and inferior frontal gyrus. Okay. And towards the lateral side we can see this is the lateral sulcus which is coming towards the posterior part. So it is going, main part is known as stem of the lateral sulcus, posterior stem of the lateral sulcus. Here we can see there are two branches. This is the anterior ramus of the lateral sulcus. Then this is the anterior ascending part, anterior ascending ramus. This is as anterior ramus, and this posteriorly the main part is known as posterior ramus. So these are the lateral sulcus, and towards the temporal lobe also we can see there is a superior temporal sulcus and the inferior temporal sulcus, which divides the temporal lobe into superior temporal gyrus, middle temporal gyrus, and inferior temporal gyrus. Okay. Then posteriorly the parietal lobe we can see there is a main one sulcus, that is the intraparietal sulcus, okay, which divides into superior and inferior parietal lobules. This is superior parietal lobule and this is the inferior parietal lobule. Then posteriorly we have already seen the parieto-occipital sulcus here, and towards the occipital pole we can see the part of calcarine sulcus, and here there is a lunar shaped sulcus, that is lunate sulcus, which can be seen. So these are the major sulcus which can be seen in the superolateral surface of the cerebrum. So towards the medial surface, this is the medial surface, so we can make out this is our corpus callosum. So above the corpus callosum comes the callosal sulcus. This one is the here above the corpus callosum, this is the callosal sulcus. Okay, above that comes the cingulate gyrus. Then above that we can see this is the cingulate sulcus, and this portion is known as medial frontal gyrus. This is the medial frontal gyrus. Towards the central part we can see this picture, we can make out this is the central sulcus, which is coming from the supralateral surface. So this region surrounding the central sulcus, this is known as paracentral lobule. So this is the paracentral lobule, and below that we can see this is our cingulate gyrus, corpus callosum, callosal sulcus, cingulate sulcus. And here towards posterior aspect we can make out this is the parieto-occipital sulcus. This is the parieto-occipital sulcus, and here comes this is the calcarine sulcus. Okay. So between the parieto-occipital and the calcarine sulcus, this portion, this is known as cuneus. Then this portion in front of the calcarine sulcus, so this one in front of the parieto-occipital sulcus, this portion is known as precuneus. This is cuneus and this is precuneus. Here comes the paracentral lobule. So these are the main sulcus which are seen in the medial side, medial aspect, medial surface. Then coming to the inferior surface, here this is our olfactory sulcus. So anteriorly here this is olfactory sulcus, and this is known as gyrus recti, straight gyrus, and lateral to that we can see an H-shaped sulcus. This is known as orbital sulcus. So here we can see orbital gyra is there, anterior, posterior, medial and lateral orbital gyrus is there. Then coming posteriorly, here we can see this is the parahippocampal gyrus. Then this is our collateral sulcus. Okay. So here comes lateral occipitotemporal gyrus. Then here this is the occipitotemporal sulcus. And here also we can, most medially we can see some part of the calcarine sulcus coming from the medial surface, and so these are the main sulci and gyri in the inferior surface of the cerebrum. Okay. And towards the inferior surface, so inferiorly we can make out some other structures. So this one here, this is the olfactory lobe. So here comes from olfactory, here we can make out this is the olfactory tract. Okay. So here there is a bulb that is known as olfactory bulb. So it receives the synapse from the olfactory epithelium. From the olfactory epithelium, olfactory nerves enters inside the olfactory bulb, and the olfactory bulb then continues backward as the olfactory tract. So this is a, then we can see this is the anterior perforated substance. We can make out some spots. So this is the anterior perforated substance, and this is our optic nerve. So here it is coming from the orbit, and here the two optic nerves, nasal part of the optic nerve will cross each other. This part is known as optic chiasma. Behind the optic chiasma we can see a rounded structure. So this is known as, this is our pituitary gland. So this is our pituitary gland, and this one here we can see a stalk, that is the stalk of the pituitary. Then here we can see another small projection. This is known as tuber cinereum. On either side we can see another two projections. They are the mammillary bodies. Okay, and this is the posterior perforated substance. So all these things can be seen in between the two peduncles of the midbrain, So this area is known as interpeduncular area, interpeduncular fossa or interpeduncular area. Okay. So this is the section of our midbrain. So on either side of the midbrain we can see another small bulgings. They are the medial geniculate body and lateral geniculate body. Medial and lateral geniculate body on either side. So these are the, here we can see some part of the corpus callosum which connects the two cerebral hemispheres. This is corpus callosum. So this is the corpus callosum, which is a white matter which connects the two cerebral hemispheres. So it has an anterior part, this is known as rostrum. This is rostrum, and this thick part, this is known as genu, and there is a main part that is known as trunk, and posteriorly a bulging part that is known as splenium. So these are the parts of the corpus callosum: rostrum, genu, trunk, and splenium. Okay. In the structure of this cerebrum, here we can see the cerebrum, the outer part, there will be outer grey matter, and inner there will be white matter. Here we can see white matter. So grey matter, this is the yellow shades, this is the grey matter of the cerebrum, and below this grey matter comes the white matter. Okay, so the grey matter is formed by the cell bodies, aggregation of cell bodies of the neurons, and below that we can see this white matter which is formed by the aggregation of axons. Okay, so this is the white matter of the cerebrum. Okay, so outer there will be grey matter and inner white matter. Okay, and inside the white matter also we can see some aggregation of cell bodies, that is known as basal ganglia. Here we can see this is the some aggregation of cell bodies deep to the white matter. Okay, so that is the basal ganglia. Okay, here basal ganglia. So the basal ganglia comprises of three parts. Corpus striatum is formed by the corpus striatum, then amygdaloid body, and claustrum. So these are the parts of the basal ganglia: corpus striatum, amygdaloid body, and claustrum. Okay, we can see in this. So this is the corpus striatum. Corpus striatum comprises of caudate nucleus. So this is the green color portion. This is the caudate nucleus. This green color caudate nucleus. We can see it's a snake shape. So like a snake. Yeah. So caudate nucleus. Then there is lentiform nucleus. We can see a lens shaped nucleus. Lentiform nucleus, and formed by lentiform nucleus and caudate nucleus. So this lentiform nucleus, again it is divided into two parts, that is putamen and globus pallidus. The lentiform nucleus has two parts, putamen and globus pallidus. Okay. Then this we will see each one like globus pallidus. Then so this corpus striatum is formed by caudate nucleus, putamen, and globus pallidus. Okay, both together to forms corpus striatum. Then here this is the lentiform nucleus and caudate nucleus. Then here we can see this is the amygdaloid body. the tail of the caudate nucleus, we can see the amygdaloid body. Okay, so in this diagram, this is as another section. So in this section of the brain, we can make out, this is the outer cortex, this is our insula, we already seen the insula. Then here there will be an extreme capsule. Then here we can see a irregular shape gray matter. So this is the claustrum, and here we can see this is the lentiform nucleus. Here we can see a lens shaped nucleus, lentiform nucleus. That is outer there is putamen, and inner there is globus pallidus. Putamen and globus pallidus. Okay. Then here we can see the head of the caudate nucleus. Caudate nucleus. Here comes the tail of the caudate nucleus. Tail of the caudate nucleus. Then this part, this is the thalamus. Thalamus. Medially we can see the thalamus. Then so between the thalamus and this lentiform nucleus, we can see another group of white matter, a V-shaped white matter. So this is known as internal capsule. V-shape internal capsule. Internal capsule also can be seen. This is the internal capsule. So internal capsule has a anterior limb, posterior limb, and there is a retrolentiform, that is below the lentiform part. There is a sublentiform part, and there is a retrolentiform part below it. Okay, so 4 parts. There is an anterior limb, posterior limb, sublentiform part, and a retrolentiform part. Retrolentiform part for the internal capsule. So internal capsule, the importance is the white matter, the large amount of axons, that is white matter, is seen and is compactly arranged inside this space, a small space. Okay, that is our internal capsule. Okay, that is the internal capsule. So those are the features of the cerebrum. Then next comes the cerebellum. So this is the cerebellum. So cerebellum, we can make out cerebellum. It is known as hindbrain. So the cerebellum has 2 hemispheres, right and left hemispheres, which are connected by a medium vermis. This is the vermis. So vermis connects the right and left cerebral hemispheres, and each cerebral hemisphere has a superior surface and an inferior surface. Superior surface, and this is the inferior surface. Superior and inferior surface. Then it has each 2 cerebral hemispheres are continuous with each other on the superior surface. Superior surface, we can see it is continuous. Both hemispheres are continuous in vermis. But inferiorly, we can see it forms a deep cleft here. The 2 and this cleft is known as vallecula. Vallecula of the cerebellum. And each cerebral hemispheres are divided again into small lobes and lobules by small fissures. So many fissures can be seen, and the prominent fissures are the primary fissure. This is the primary fissure. There is a primary fissure, and there will be a horizontal fissure. This is the horizontal fissure. In this posteriorly we can make out. So this is the inferiorly, this is the horizontal fissure. Here there is a horizontal fissure, and there is another fissure, that is the posterolateral fissure. Here we can see there is a posterolateral fissure. Okay. And also there will be small fissures can be seen. So mainly these are the fissures, that is primary fissure or fissura prima. This is the primary fissure, and then comes the horizontal fissure, which divides into, this is the horizontal fissure, and here there is a posterolateral fissure. Okay, and it divides into 3 lobes. Here there is an anterior lobe. This is the anterior lobe. Then this is the posterior lobe. So the entire green color region. So this entire portion, this is the posterior lobe, and here we can make out a small blue color region. This is the flocculonodular lobe. So 3 lobes: anterior lobe, posterior lobe, and flocculonodular lobes. So these are the 3 lobes of the cerebellum, and both 2 hemispheres are separated by a median portion. This is known as vermis. And while looking to the structure of the cerebellum, we can make out the outer there is gray matter and inner there is white matter. So the white matter we can see it is arranged like the branches of a tree. So it is white matter of the cerebellum is also known as arbor vitae. Arbor vitae. Okay. So deep to the white matter again, same like our cerebrum, we can see also same some nuclei inside the cerebellum. Okay, they are the intracerebellar nucleus. So we can see there is a large dentate nucleus. This is the dentate nucleus. Then comes the emboliform nucleus. There comes the emboliform nucleus. Then there is globose nucleus. Then there will be nucleus fastigial. Fastigial nucleus. So these are the cerebellar nucleus. Emboliform nucleus, dentate nucleus. This is dentate nucleus. Then emboliform nucleus. Then globose nucleus. Then fastigial nucleus. So these are the nucleus which are seen inside the cerebellum. And the cerebellum, it is connected to the midbrain, to the brainstem through three cerebellar peduncles. The midbrain is connected to the cerebellum through the superior cerebellar peduncle. Here we can see this is the midbrain actually, cerebral peduncles. So it is connected to the cerebellum through superior cerebellar peduncle. Same like this, pons also it is connected to the cerebellum through the, here in this we can see this picture. Here this is the superior, this here comes the superior cerebellar peduncle. This is the middle cerebellar peduncle, and this posteriorly it is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So superior cerebellar peduncle connects the cerebellum with the midbrain, and in middle connects the cerebellum with the pons, and inferior connects the cerebellum with the medulla oblongata. Okay. So these are the three cerebral peduncles, and the function of the cerebrum is maintains equilibrium. Main function is the maintenance of the equilibrium of our body, and it controls the body movements also. Okay. So that is the cerebellum. And next is the brainstem. Here this is the anterior view of the brainstem. So this brainstem already seen, the comprises of upper part, that is the midbrain, then middle part, that is pons, and lower part, this is the medulla oblongata. So this anterior view of the midbrain. See, this anterior view we can see there are two cerebral peduncles. So between the cerebral peduncles there is a space that is known as interpeduncular fossa. And in the interpeduncular fossa we can see the mammillary bodies, then tuberous cinereum, then stalk of the pituitary gland. Here comes the pituitary gland again. Okay. So this is the olfactory optic chiasma. Then optic chiasma continues as the optic tract. So here we can, on either side optic tract can be seen. And in the brainstem, midbrain, we can see between the cerebral peduncles there is a cranial nerve. So first cranial nerve, this is the olfactory nerve. We already seen which forms the olfactory tract, bulb and tract, olfactory. Then second is the optic nerve. Then third cranial nerve. So here we can see that this is the oculomotor nerve. Third cranial nerve is emerging from the midbrain, the lower border of the midbrain. And here another fourth cranial nerve. This is known as trochlear nerve. Trochlear nerve. Okay. So actually trochlear nerve is coming from the posterior aspect, but it rounds the cerebral peduncle and coming to the anterior aspect of the brainstem. Okay. And this is our pons. So here the pons we can see on either side. The middle cerebellar peduncle. You already seen it will be connecting to the cerebellum, middle cerebellar peduncle, and at the center we can see there is a notch. This is known as basilar sulcus. So then on the basilar sulcus there will be basilar arteries. Basilar artery can be seen passing through this sulcus. Then so that is the pons. On either side we can see towards the lateral aspect of the pons. Here this is the fourth trochlear nerve, and below that comes the fifth cranial nerve, that is trigeminal nerve. So we can see the trigeminal nerve here. Then junction between the pons and the medulla. This is junction between the pons and medulla. We can see here this is the sixth cranial nerve, that is abducens nerve. Then next more laterally between the pons and medulla we can see the seventh cranial nerve, that is facial nerve. Then two sensory and motor part of the facial nerve, and here we can see this is the 8th cranial nerve, that is vestibulocochlear nerve. Vestibulocochlear. Okay. Then comes the medulla. This is our medulla. So medulla, anterior view, and the anteriorly we can see at the center there will be a central sulcus. Then on either side of the central sulcus we can see the two bulgings, elongated bulgings. They are the pyramids. So they are known as pyramids, and lateral to the pyramid we can see another bulging. This is known as olive. So pyramids and olives can be seen. Okay. Between the pyramid and olive we can see another cranial nerve is emerging, that is our